Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. It's your host, Isaiah, joined by his favorite co host, Mr. Moses Firmino.
What's going on, everybody?
And today, the bracket is in full effect. Some brackets are destroyed, some brackets are being held onto, some are doing strong. We've had a very chalky March Madness so far. This is something that Mo and I kept hammering, where it felt like the ones and the two seeds just felt stronger. Like it really felt like one of those years. Um, Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Again, we've grown this channel a lot. But first, we're going to get into our thoughts about the tournament as a whole. We're going to give a brief update on my bracket and Moses's. And then, of course, make our second chance bracket given what we know now. Now that we've seen every tournament team play 2 games, we've got some more info under our belt. We'll make our picks, see how different our picks are from our original, or are we staying the same? Mo, kick us off here. What are your thoughts on the bracket so far and all the basketball that we've seen through the first 2 rounds of play?
Yeah, as I said, a very, very chalky March Madness tournament this year. All of, the expected teams, though, kind of hanging on. Definitely facing some tests, Houston going up against Star Zags in a crazy game.
Yeah, great
Um,
game.
and some of those upsets too. The San Diego State, the San Diego UC San Diego's of the
Yeah.
world, losing a tight one there to Michigan.
Hmm.
Michigan then bouncing back. Many people, they lost by 3 points to a 12 seed. Texas A&M is going to run through them. They come back and put on an amazing performance against the Aggies.
They
Just
did.
all around. I know I'm kind of rambling right now and I'm jumping around the bracket, but I feel like that's kind of a juxtaposition to how what we saw in
Yeah,
this first weekend of March. It was all over the place, but pretty in line so
pretty
far, I would
linear.
say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you, and I think, I understand. I do understand. We have 4 conferences represented in the Sweet 16, and that's it. 7 are from the SEC. Like, I understand. March Madness, the big part of it is those double-digit seeds that make deep runs. The only double-digit seed we have is a 10, an SEC school in Arkansas led by John Calipari. That is not a Cinderella story. It's an amazing story, but it's not the 15 seed. It's not, one of these schools. And I understand people being upset that that isn't the case. I will argue this, though. People forget this is how it is supposed to go. When they make the bracket, the intent is the 1 through 8 seeds have an easier path to advance than the 9 through 16. It doesn't always play out that way. It oftentimes doesn't play out that way. That is what makes this, to me, my favorite sporting event ever. Like every year, above the Super
Yeah.
Bowl, above the
Yep.
finals, above the World Series, above everything. It is my favorite sporting event. And for that reason, but just because every 1 seed makes the Sweet 16, 3 of the 4 2 seeds make the Sweet 16, RIP our Johnnies, but people forget this is the intent. This is how it is supposed to go. So I understand, not having a UC San Diego here, not having a Drake or a McNeese or a Colorado State, but it's the way it goes some years. And I get people are bringing up the NIL thing and like it's destroying these Cinderella stories. That's not true. Colorado State is a travel call away from being here. There's plenty of double digit seeds where it's like you're this close to advancing. It doesn't happen. That's what makes the tournament so fun. Some years it's like we have right now, and some years It's a 16 seed, walking out with a win. It's a 15 seed going to the Sweet 16. It is what it is. But this tournament has not been bad strictly because the top seeds have done what the top seeds are supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. People do often forget that the seeding is supposed to work out these way. We want these
Yeah.
1 versus 4s, these 1 versus 5s, these
Mhm.
whatever it is. We want to see the best teams play because, yes, as fun as the Cinderella runs are, and yes, as deserving as they are to be there, the
Mhm.
talent level of these teams throughout the season, we're seeing
Yep.
the best talent over the full work of the season on display
Agreed.
in a winner go home matchup with
Yep.
all if you're a basketball fan, I don't see how you can be upset with this tournament.
No.
And you also bring up a good point with the NIL, with the all that stuff. Yeah, Colorado State, travel call away. UC San Diego, Tate Jones, are no, it's not.
Right.
I'm forgetting his, but he fouled out. Like there's a couple foul calls that go their way, a couple rebounds, a couple bounces. Like
Yep.
it is not all this NIL transfer. They
No.
have transfer guys too. Like some of these teams were really good because of transfers. Like it's all over the board, man. I couldn't
It
agree
is.
more with your talking points, but
Yeah.
it's been a beautiful tournament.
It has. And I will say this, listen. Mo and I on this channel, we try to cultivate people that want to watch, that want to talk basketball. Nobody has to agree with us on any of our takes. We don't want that. We don't want an audience where everyone's like, "Man, Moses, you're totally right on 100% of the things you said. Man, Isaiah, you're the smartest ever. You said everything and I agree." We don't want that. The fun in sports
Nope.
is being wrong. You're going to be wrong as many times, if not more, than you are right. What I will say is this, because we don't pop our collar enough on this. We were called SEC homers. Well, almost 50% of the Sweet 16 is SEC. Some of those SEC schools had to eliminate SEC schools to even get here. We have that for one. Two, we said it was going to be chalky this year. We felt pretty confident about it. Look at what we're working with. So I am not mad at people disagreeing with our takes, but when you comment, you're a moron, you guys are stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, just know I'm Kevin Durant. I'm happily Kevin Durant. I will happily respond to a comment from days ago and say, hey, what's the update? Because it's you can disagree with us, but if you're gonna be an asshole about it, come on, man. Like it is what it is.
It's
There,
it,
yeah,
it yeah, it's I agree. We have people who, everyone, again, you're entitled to your own opinion. We have those who
totally.
comment and say the things that you said were dumb or lame or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have those who comment with a differing opinion, but they back it up and
And I
share
love
and
it.
talk about it. And that's what
Yep,
this channel is about.
totally.
Um, it's we can have that conversation, but if it's a conversation, this isn't a diss track. This isn't a
No,
whatever the
no,
case may be. Like let's have a conversation.
no.
If you want to have a conversation and help, maybe you'll educate us on something we didn't bring up in the
Yes,
video. That is what this
yes.
whole channel, this community, this is why we started it. So
Totally agree. And to put a bow on this, Mo and I pride ourselves. I think this is a whole video on its own of sports media today is so clickbaity and hot take oriented. Everyone has to be the loudest in the room and they have to say the craziest thing. They have to say the wildest thing to garner clicks, views, everything like that. What Mo and I do is to have a dialogue. We want to talk about it. We want to say, here are the analytics. Here's what we're looking at. I'm not going to scream at Mo and call him a moron. Yeah, that might get more clicks and views. That's not how I feel. I'm not going to fake,
not how we
you
roll.
know,
Yeah.
no, same for Mo. If I'm going to say, Mo, I say things all the time where Mo's like, I don't agree with that. But he could say, I disagree with that. Here's why. And I go, I like that take. Let's move on. It doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
this butting of heads. And so that is the audience that I at least hope we cultivate over the years and continue to make year in and year out. A
Agreed.
little, a little detour, I guess, on the video, but we can
Tangent.
loop back. Just had to,
Yep.
something that was on uh my mind at least as we've been going through this. There was also a Memphis
Yeah.
fan who called us stupid. How was that first round upset? Anyways, we can move on now. Here is what I'm doing in terms of my bracket. We're cooking. We're cooking. 13 of my 16 Sweet 16 picks are right. Only missing one Elite Eight team. I think we both are, and it's St. John's. Damn it. Who
Yeah.
we've been
Yeah.
hyping up all year long. Breaks my heart, but what a win for Calipari. That is an iconic moment in the sport of basketball. To get that between the two of them. We're cooking right now. Not mad at what we've got. Still got Florida, who got that scare from UConn where this bracket was almost dead in the water, but they were
Yep.
able to pull it out and get the win. Doing good overall. Mo, here is what you were
Dude.
cooking with. You can't say your max
Yeah.
number, but it's important to include here because you've got a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, I just real quick, I didn't realize you were at a 98% clip, if that's what that said.
Yeah.
Good shit, my man. That's
Thank you.
that's
Thank you.
absurd. I'm there with you in the maxes. I'm in the 1700 range. That's my
Yep.
max is 1700. So
Yeah.
not too horrible. The rank and the percentage might not show you that, but still, as Zay said, only one Elite Eight team missing. I believe I have 12 out of 16. So
Yeah.
I'll take a 75% in the Sweet 16. But
Absolutely.
yeah, a couple of those first round upset picks kind of hurt me, but not in
Yeah.
the long term because the teams that I ended up seeing winning in the second rounds and beyond ended up happening. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not too mad at mine either. I'll take it for
No.
through the first weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited. If you're in the ESPN league, obviously you can see both of these, but there's a little analysis as to what we've been cooking, and it segues into the video, the root of the video. We now have our second chance bracket. Mo picked 12 of the 16 teams here. I picked 13 of the 16 teams here. Doing good overall. The big thing I'm interested to see with your bracket is how many differences do you have on the teams that we predicted right. In the South, we went 4 for 4, right? I think we both picked
Yeah,
that region completely. In the East, did you pick Oregon or Arizona to go Sweet 16?
I I had Oregon. That is my only missing piece
Okay.
there. Yep.
Okay. So I'm 4 of 4 there. You're 3 of 4 there, which again,
Mm,
you had Duke beating the winner either way. So
Yep. Yep.
that's big there. Bottom left, I picked 3 of 4. Had Florida, Maryland, Texas Tech, but I had St. John's, and that obviously cuts
That's
deep. It's the biggest
same
L on the
here.
bracket.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. And then bottom right in the Midwest, this is where I had the most slip ups. I had 2 slip ups here. I didn't have Purdue making it this far. I had Clemson, who had maybe the worst half of basketball I've ever seen in my life.
Was it 13 points or 19 points?
13,
What
13 points. 13. And they still almost came back and won if they wouldn't have dug
they put up
themselves in
like
that big of a hole.
I think it was 54 to 57
Yeah.
points in the second half. Yeah, like if you scored 20 to 25 points in the first half, you probably
You
win that
you
game,
win.
man. Like
Yeah,
that is
that
insane.
the worst half of basketball maybe I've ever seen in my life from a team that I had a lot of faith in. And I know there were a lot of
Yeah,
people that picked Clemson to upset Houston and go on an Elite 8 run. I considered it. I think we both at least had a
we
moment
did.
of
We
thinking
did.
about it. So, you
Thank
know, that
God.
does suck.
Thank
But thank
yeah.
oh man, yeah, there's a world where we're in a lot of trouble. Because Houston's your title team, right?
That's my champ. That is my
And
champ. So I'm really liking this draw. We'll get to it, but I'm
yes,
liking what I
I
see
am
here at
too.
least for the Sweet 16. But
I am
yeah,
too.
I
And
I had Clemson and I had Texas going on a Sweet 16.
oh, you did. I had
That is my
Xavier.
biggest L.
So,
That is my biggest L. So at
yeah.
least, hey, you were closer than me. You're
Yeah,
a step closer.
yeah, the Midwest, we were not cooking. We were not cooking in the Midwest. 2 of 4. We have, you know, Houston, who's your title team, and Tennessee, who we both had meeting in the Elite Eight, but Purdue and Kentucky both misses for us here. So we'll see what we go with differently. The way we're gonna do this is round by round. So we're not gonna do region since we can fit it all in one clean tab here. I think it'll look better if we do that. Um, Mo, do we want to start here in the South?
Yeah, let's start. Let's start in the top left, like we've
Okay,
been doing.
top left. Auburn, Michigan. This is what we had, a close game for A&M in Michigan. I was worried that, again, that was a toss-up game where we really went back and forth on that area. You know, we had UC San Diego as the 12 seed. We had Yale as the 13 seed that were both enticing as well. But we settled on Michigan. In our original video, we both picked Michigan to defeat Auburn here. Are you staying true to that, or are you feeling a little better about Auburn?
From where we ended with Auburn, I am feeling a little bit better after
Mhm.
they handled Alabama State in the first round by 20. And then it was tight there against Creighton, but they pulled
It
away,
was.
winning it by 12. The score there doesn't tell you the full story of that game.
Yeah.
Michigan, although it has been tough, that first round matchup, as we talked about, was going to be the one that we very well saw them going out in that first round. But we
Yeah.
said if they could escape that upset and get through, I had Yale, but if they could get through the
Yeah,
second
yeah, yeah.
round, we saw them going on a little upset run of their own against the number one team all year long. Michigan is that team that plays to their competition. No matter where they can play the 40-point defense, no one hitting a shot, but down the stretch,
Mhm.
we're gonna be clutch. Donald's so clutch, man. He's just clutch. I love obviously Auburn has Janai Broom and they have the guys, they have the seniority. I have Michigan and the bigs and Donaldson and his clutch shot. Just even if he's a so-so, he might put up 10 and a couple assists and some good defense. He's not gonna be the X factor like a Golden or Wolf for Michigan, but they want him with the ball in his hands. Coach trusts him
Yeah.
to be the guy down the stretch with the ball in his hands, and he has made the right plays, the game-winning plays every single time since the Big Ten tournament. I have the Wolverines continuing that pace and knocking off Auburn.
Yeah, and I will say too, there's 2 things for me. You know, I agree with what you said. I do feel better about Auburn than I did going into the tournament because you lost 3 of 4. Like, that concerns me for any team. I don't care your name, I don't care who's on your team, your seeding. If you lose 3 of 4 going into the tournament, I'm worried. The
Yeah,
things that worry me in tournament is this. 1, slow starts for both games. Alabama State, they had a lead there, I think about 15 minutes into the game in that ballpark, and I was concerned. Now, obviously, Auburn walks out with a 20-point win. They took care of business. They turned it up, and once they turned it up, there was no looking back. Same thing with Creighton. The Blue Jays were shooting the 3 ball at an unreal clip. So, it is what it is, but it was still slow. And you walk out with a 12-point win, but Creighton played them tough there throughout
yeah.
most of the game. The second thing that worries me is Janiah Broome. He is the player of the year. 3 of his last 7 games, he has put up single digits. If Auburn wants to win a title, that can't happen. They have a deep team. They play both sides of the ball well. It's not only Janiah Broome, clearly, because if it was, they'd be in more trouble with Creighton. They walk out with a
Yeah.
loss. They're a deep team, but it does worry me. For Michigan, the size is their, Wolf and Golden are their go-tos. That is their bread and butter down there in the paint, banging down low, and Trey Donaldson coming up, like you said, with some clutch buckets at the guard spot. They're going to need those guards to beat
Yeah.
Auburn. But I'm
Mhm.
with you. I have the Wolverines pulling this win still. They thrive on these close games. It reminds me, I said it before, of the Minnesota Vikings of 2 years ago, where
Mhm.
every game is a one-score game, and you're waiting for it to bite them. You're
Yep.
waiting, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna get clipped at some point, where Trey Donaldson misses one, or Wolf
Mhm.
turns it over, or Golden bricks or something. It's gonna happen. But they're living life on the edge, and I'm picking the Wolverines with you to beat Auburn. The line here is 8.5. I'm
That's
happily taking
crazy.
the
That is
Wolverines at
so
eight and a
crazy.
half.
I
So
agree, man. Yeah, I know we kind of talked about it. Broome has had this injury, and I don't.
yeah,
They're. It's the body language thing for me. Like, yes, they've been getting these wins, but if you watch, as it's not really going well, he's not really hustling. Like, he kind of tunes out of the game. I feel like the Auburn team, it happened last year with Chad Baker Mazara getting thrown out. Like,
yep,
they do it to themselves. And I just don't have that worry with Michigan. And as you said, yes, you're expecting them to get clipped. You're expecting Donaldson to not make a big shot down, but they've been Golden's been amazing at the line down the stretch for a 7-footer. Like, it just
yep.
everything for them has been it's been clicking. So it's definitely worrying, but I just feel like the magic, it's still there, man. I'm gonna trust it.
Yeah, I'm too. Now, if Auburn wins this, no surprise. I will not
Yep.
walk away like, wow, I really thought Michigan was going to win. This is an upset pick. We had it before. It's still an upset pick now. But I agree. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Wolverines.
Yep.
Ole Miss, Michigan State, another matchup that we've had. Michigan State dominant against Bryant. Just again, Bryant played him close to the first like 8, 9, 10 minutes, and then it was no looking back for the Sparties. Took care of business against New Mexico as well, who played them tough as a 10 seed. The other Patino
It was,
gave him a
yeah.
fight, and
Yeah.
that was a great game. As for Ole Miss, was blowing North Carolina out like it wasn't even a game. Let the Tar Heels cut it into a one possession game and stiff armed them away, but the Tar Heels did play them close and then took care of
Yeah.
business against Iowa State, winning by 13 to get here. We said this with Ole Miss when they're fully locked in on defense and that three ball is falling like they are capable
Dude.
of doing, they can
Dude.
beat anyone. They can upset anyone. They can be a problem to any team. The Sparties, we know, we've said it with them too. That
We
defense,
know.
stifling. They do everything well. The three ball is what kills them. But since putting Jace Richardson in the starting lineup, they've looked significantly better.
Stud.
So
Changed the season. Changed the
totally.
dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah. So close game here. I have a Michigan versus Michigan State. I'm sticking with my pick, Sparties Wolverines in the Elite Eight.
I am so on the fence with this pick
I know,
because
man.
in the second round in that Iowa State victory, the Rebels shot 58% from 3 as a team. Michigan, on the other hand, Michigan State against New Mexico shot 26.7% from three. It is so scary, and we've literally known this is nothing different. This isn't an anomaly. No Jason Tatum.
Nope.
This is in it's what we know. I'm also going with the Spartans though, but I'm
Yeah.
very on the fence. Like before when I picked this, I was like, yeah, Old Miss, they're gonna be coming in hot, but Izzo, March, he's gonna get it done. I'm very worried, but for my juju and for the original bracket where I had this, I'm keeping it. Do you have the spread on this one? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes.
I have it right here now. 3.5 for the Spartans. It's good. I see it. I see it being tight, bro. I see this being a tight
I
game,
do
and that's
too.
very worrying. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a game. Like you said, we've known the formula of these two teams. It's not any different than what we've seen, but it's different when you really see the games. It's the same thing. It was easier to pick Michigan over Auburn, but now that it's here, it's like, damn, it's tough. Same thing with Ole Miss, Michigan State, but I'm glad we're both sticking to our guns here. We can head on down to the West. Florida,
Let's do it.
Maryland. Scares for both of those teams going into this game. UConn, like I said earlier, played them so close. They had the lead, and then Walter Clayton did what we know Walter Clayton can do: clutch basket over clutch basket over clutch basket over and over and over. He had that 3-point fadeaway contested where he just took care of business. And you could tell when Walter is in that mode, there's no one that can guard him. There's nothing anyone can do. He is adamant on being the best player on the court. The Gators were my title pick, and Maryland with St. John's were my crush of this season. The Crab Five, no depth on their team, but man, that starting five is ridiculous. Derek Queen is going to be an animal at the next level. Maybe the most exciting game for me of the Sweet 16. Mo, who is your pick here? It's so difficult.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like teams coming off of a buzzer beater victory, it just gives them such a boost that it's really, really worrying for this Gators team, as good as they've been. As I'm gonna go with the Gators because, as you said, Clayton hitting those huge shots down the stretch after really struggling throughout the game. Like his stat line looks pretty good, but
Yes.
he was not playing good that game against UConn. But to have that next possession mentality, next shot, like I'm the best player on the court and I'm gonna win this for my team.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the depth and the backpacking of Clayton here for Florida down the stretch, but watch out for those terrapins, man. After this big, energetic, and again, like that might suck for like maybe if they had that buzzer beater in the first game and then they go into the second game and blow them out. Like there's a couple days of rest and you got to control those emotions over the next few days. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot there. I'm gonna go with my original pick though, with Florida.
I will say this. I have Florida as well. If Maryland wins this game, I'm taking them Final Four. That's my caveat. Like, I think the Gators walk out with a victory, but if the Terps win this, man, they're going Final Four. So
Yep.
that is what I'll add. Down below, Texas Tech, Arkansas, banger game, the only double-digit seed in here. We said it going into the tourney. Calipari has his Razorbacks playing the best basketball of the season going into the tournament. And the craziest thing to me is Boogie Fland in his return. We haven't even seen him at his best. He's been good,
Struggling.
but
Yeah.
it's not the
The
Boogie
shot.
Fland
The
of
shot has been
yes,
struggling. Yeah.
yes, where it's like we know he can do better. We know he's knocking the rust off in the middle of March Madness, which is
Crazy.
crazy. I commend him a lot. But Texas Tech, dangerous, man. They've got the defense. They score well. They've really kind of cruised into here, looking
They
great on
have.
both sides of the ball. Two double-digit
Mhm.
wins in the round of 64 over UNC Wilmington and 11 seeded Drake in the round of 32, winning by 13. This is, oh man, I'm going with Texas Tech to win, but my lord, this is so difficult.
This one for me is, oh man. It's just so, as you said, the Red Raiders just kind of cruising in, beating UNC Wilmington, and then facing a Drake team who is on trying to be on a Cinderella run of their own. Arkansas being a Cinderella, if you want to call it that, knocking off St. John's. As you said, yeah, Boogie Fland not even playing as good as we know he can. I believe in the St. John's broadcast, they were talking about how this is his first time coming off the bench since junior high school. So a little bit of a change there for him mentally, just physically throughout the game. I want to go Arkansas because of the double digit seed and the run and knocking off the St. John's team. I think Texas Tech, they've had their scoring has been from the starting lineup has been unbelievable. Role guys coming in and giving great minutes as well. The defense, as you said, has been very, very good. I'm going chalk again, man. I have the Red Raiders as well.
Yeah.
But
Eh,
this what's the 5.5 on the spread
Five and a
here.
half. Yeah, I'm taking that for Arkansas. I
Yeah.
and dude, you look at JT Toppin, 25 points, 11 of 13 from the field, 3 of 4 at the stripe, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks, 1 turnover. Like, and then you have Darian Williams, like 28 points, 11 of 18 from the field, 1 of 4 from deep, 5 of 5 from the free throw stripe, 6 rebounds, 5 dimes, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. I mean, like, bro, this Texas Tech team is amazing. Elijah Hawkins, 11 free throw attempts. He knocks down 10 of them. Like, this team is deep. They play great defense. That it's really a 6-man rotation, but the 6 guys that you're getting are all great. So I like this Texas Tech team. Not mad at the pick at all. Can move over to the top right now. Duke and Arizona. Caleb Love trying to get his get back. Or not getting his get back. He ended Coach K. I said, go ahead, pack it up, send it home, brother. He's now
Yep.
looking at Cooper Flagg, trying to do the same thing in his 1 year at Duke. Duke, to me, has looked the best of the 1 seed so far. They have that sprained ankle who? Hasn't looked like a problem to me. Cooper Flagg
Yep.
looks dangerous. He doesn't look like a freshman out there. We've said it all year. One of the most complete freshman prospects I've seen, where I just don't see a hole in his game. Everything he does well. He's only going to get better with his jumper, which is already solid now. Very tough. I think Duke gets their lick back and eliminates Caleb Love. But we've said this with Arizona. They're going to live by Caleb Love and they're going to die by him. and they have been living through him. A dominant game against Oregon. Amazing basketball. My girlfriend was totally tapped into the game. Like, holy crap, this kid is going ballistic right now, and it's true. But Duke is complete, both sides of the ball. I was felt good about them going into the tournament, and they have grown on me the most of any team in the field.
I could not agree more. We were worried about the health of Cooper Flagg and just how this Blue Devils team was going to look in general. And they have answered the bell. Tyrese Proctor, the veteran guy for them, having his best game of the tournament with 25 against Baylor. They just kind of took it to that 9-seeded team. A little high school rivalry there for Flagg and VJ, showing its head again, and Cooper getting it from him again. But as you said, I agree. This Blue Devils team has looked like the best 1 seed, has grown on me the most throughout this tournament. And Arizona, we know it's Caleb Love, live or die. Lived through him against Oregon, hitting big threes. As soon as Oregon cut into the deficit, made it close, he just makes a big shot, makes a play. KJ Lewis, another veteran guy who has had some experience, looking very, very good for the Wildcats. Going to need a huge game out of him if they want to compete against Duke. But I just think this is where the talent of the Blue Devils just overwhelms the Wildcats. And sorry, Caleb, you might have another amazing performance, but I don't think it's going to be like at North Carolina where you had a little bit more help.
Yeah. And again, deep team for the Wildcats. They played 8 guys against Oregon, and they all are great in different ways. But again, Caleb Love. Caleb Love is the key. You're gonna live by him, you're gonna die by him. We'll see if they can keep it going in this next game. Speaking of this next game, Mo, BYU Bama, whatever the over under is, hammer the over. I don't even need to know the number. This is going to be bucket after bucket, an NBA style offensive game between these two teams. I am so excited to see this game play out.
I couldn't agree more. St. Mary's, tried to slow down the rolling of the Crimson Tide. And yeah, it was close there for bits and pieces, and it looked like they were going to be able to get back into the game, but Alabama just overwhelmed them on the offensive side of the ball. Didn't let the Gales, didn't let them force them into playing at the pace that they wanted them to, and the Tide just ran away with it. But this BYU team, Richie Saunders, oh my gosh, man, that Wisconsin Badger, that game, edge of my seat, 2-point victory, 91-89. As you said, get ready to take the over again in this one. But I think I don't see a reason to switch. I had BYU originally. I'm letting it ride. I've been, worried about Bama, their offense slowing down, the injuries to Grant Nelson, and the little mix up with Sears, maybe rearing its head, but Nelson looks good. He took a little shot at the end of that game, but he looked fine. He looks healthy. Sears looks just fine. We got Youngblood, love one of the best last names in college basketball, hooping for the Tide as well. I could see them obviously winning this game. I believe they're the favorite.
Yeah,
I got the Cougars.
I have said on this channel, it's not an if, it's a when will Nate Oates win a title with the Tide. It's gonna happen. This isn't the year. I have BYU as well advancing. This is what we both had. We both had BYU going Elite Eight and taking on Duke, and I still feel that way now. Demon for BYU looks amazing. He's only improving on his draft stock. He could definitely fall into the lottery now, depending on how he continues to play. And he didn't even have a great game against Wisconsin all the way through. He shot 3 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw stripe, but grabbed 8 rebounds in the game and had 8 dimes. Proof that you don't have to put the ball in the hoop in order to make a big impact. And when you have Richie Saunders, it makes it that much easier. 9 of 16 from the field, a little 25 piece on the Badgers' head. He is this BYU team. And again, I'm a Zags fan. I have BYU hate in my blood by default. Like most years, I'm like, hey man, the history of BYU. I know what you are. Don't believe it. I believed it going into the tournament, and I was terrified. They've
Yep.
justified it so far. Seeing Jimmer Fredette, a college basketball legend, in the crowd, happy, smiling, proud of his Cougars. I am as proud of them as he is. I've got the Cougars advancing to take on Duke. Mo, we're 6-6 on our picks. Will we keep it riding into the Midwest? Houston, Purdue. I don't want to be an asshole. I think I'm the most confident in this game of any game in the Sweet 16. I
I
yeah.
I hope this doesn't come back to bite me either. If you know, this is my champion, the Houston Cougars. If you think I'm picking Purdue, you're insane. You're insane. I
Yeah.
have the Cougars locked by
Wow. Wow.
Let me chill out. Let me chill
Okay.
out. It'll probably be a good game. It'll probably be a good game, but I agree. I just
Yeah.
think Purdue got McNeese, they knocked off Clemson, but as we said, worst first half we've maybe
Yeah.
ever seen. And then, Purdue just kind of overwhelms them. Braden Smith having a pretty solid, like not crazy. He only had 10 points, but oh my gosh. He had 8 turnovers.
That's
He had
crazy.
8 turnovers against McNeese. I didn't realize it was that bad.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
You're not getting away with that against Houston, and they might.
You're not.
This defense is the type that is going to be causing those type of turnovers. So that's not a good sign if you're a Purdue fan heading into this game. 8, and he only had 5 assists. Anyway, Trey Kaufman-Wren been hooping. We knew that was he puts up his 20 every game. That just seems like a
Dude,
guarantee.
he's
But
ridiculous, man. That dude is a
you
hooper, man. That dude is a
you
hooper.
you cannot do it alone. Yeah, 22 and 15 against McNeese for Kaufman-Wren. Just silly.
Yeah.
But these bigs for Houston are a little bit of a step up to McNeese.
Yep.
No hate intended. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Jawan Roberts is that man is a
Bro.
animal. I've seen him go on it was the Texas Tech game where Houston ended up losing in overtime. Yeah. But that man, I believe in like the fourth quarter into overtime, scored like 12 straight for Houston. He did it in the Zags game. I think he scored like 10 straight, just going at EK, going at Huff. Just
that was such a fun
Houston
back
team,
and forth.
man. That game was so fun, dude. It would have been so
Yeah.
cool if the Zags won, but
yeah,
we unfortunately knew.
Yeah. And listen, we don't need to talk about my Zags any longer than this, but I am very proud of the way they played. They played with some heart, some intensity. They gave Houston a run for their money, made the crowd, had some nail biters. You could see the tears were getting ready for some Houston fans of like, don't cough this up. I'm proud of my Zags on what was an up and down season, playing a Houston team that I have in the title game, and you have winning a title. I'm proud of the way the Zags played them. With Purdue, they're not a particularly deep team or strong team. What they do have is star power, and that star power can beat any team to death. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and TKR are enough to cause any team problems. That it is what it is, right? And I had Clemson going Sweet 16. That obviously didn't happen. I don't mean to discredit Purdue. I have no problem with Purdue. There's not, and I guess now I'm seeing a connection. They eliminated the Zags last year. I promise you, I'm not bitter about that at all. I just I didn't believe. I thought that, Braden Smith, an 8 turnover game, you turn the ball over 19 times as a team against Houston, you're losing by 20.
Yeah.
You're losing the
Yeah.
game. Like it
Mhm.
is the Houston. We've said it. Kelvin Sampson. This might not, this might be the best, most complete roster he's ever had. He's had some damn good ones. LJ Cryer balling out of his mind against Gonzaga. There was nothing the Zags could do to stop him. It was abuse on the court. Everything he put up, I could close my eyes and I knew it was going in. Like he had the green light and he was playing some amazing basketball. I'm with you. I've got Houston as well. And that leaves us with an SEC on SEC matchup, Kentucky versus Tennessee. I believe what's the season series between the two? Isn't it? It's 2-0
Kentucky
Kentucky? Yeah, okay.
beat
Okay.
them both times. Yep.
So this another banger game. Kentucky's been banged up and still here in the Sweet 16, man. Taking care
Hooping,
of
man.
business
Yeah.
and looking damn good. I mean, they're playing some good ball right now.
We talked about that Illinois team, if they got through the first round, they could have been a Final Four team, but the Wildcats shut that up real quick in the second round
Mhm.
with just a unbelievable shooting performance. Like Lamont Butler with his shoulder sleeve, whatever that thing is, still just hooping, being a pest
Yeah,
on D, running amazing
dude's
offense.
awesome.
Just the reason, San Diego State made it to the national championship just a short while ago. Um,
Yep.
this has been probably the toughest one for me to pick. I've been going back and forth on this one, so I'm gonna let you rip the band-aid off
That's
as a
fair.
nice co-host.
That's fair. Hey, listen, we do it to each other. There's times where
Yep,
I'm like, dude, I don't know. I need to buy myself a little time. Let me hear Mo's argument. Maybe
I'm
it'll help me.
struggling.
So I get it. Originally, I had Xavier here, and like we already said, Mo and I both didn't have Kentucky here. We did have Tennessee, and we had Tennessee going Elite Eight.
Yep.
I still have Tennessee going Elite Eight. I think their defensive intensity is enough to stifle anyone. Zakai Ziegler, man, creeping into like one of my favorite players in college basketball
Yeah.
that I've gotten to see in my life. He does everything right. Every play, it's like Ryan Nemhard. He's so smart with his passes. He can put the ball in.
Mhm.
He knows when to defer when a teammate is hot, and he can say, "Hey, Gainer, go hoop, go hoop, go take care of business. I'll wait. I'll take my time." He plays great defense, but it's not a one-man show. This Vols team is solid. They play 7 guys, and they play them all well. It
Yeah.
was, you get Gainey off the bench with 13 points. Jazz Lanier, we know what that brother can do. 20 points from him. Like I said with Zakai Ziegler, 15 points. They're able to score well. Tennessee, like Houston, is always a solid defensive team, but they have the offensive analytics and eye test to prove that they're still an absolute threat out there on the court. I've got Tennessee winning, but I do like this Kentucky team. Would not surprise me in the slightest if they won. I've been doubting them so far, and that might burn me again here.
Yeah, I have also been doubting this Wildcats team for whatever reason. Originally, it was the injuries and the unknowns of this team. But again, alas, I'm going to possibly disrespect them again, but I'm sticking true to my original pick. I have the Vols making it to the Elite Eight, setting up an amazing 1 versus 2 matchup. Our
Oh,
only 1 versus 2 matchup
it is.
in the Elite Eight,
Damn.
which would be St. John's. That hurts so bad. But anyway, yeah, man, I just I kind of was tripping. I thought the Wildcats shot a lot better. It was just that little stretch from Kobe Brea, who that brother was hooping against
Yeah, he
Illinois.
was. He was.
We know he could get hot, so that's a little scary. But I think the Vols defense is really going to be the deciding thing here. They also shot 50% from three as a team
Yeah.
against UCLA, even though they only put up 67 points. They're efficient. Give them that.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that leaves us with the same Elite Eight. I'm gonna tease it. There is a big change in my bracket, but we'll get to that here. Michigan
I'm
State, we
nervous.
had this in our brackets, and we had the Sparties winning. Mo, I've got the Sparties still winning. I've got them taking care of business and beating the Wolverines, but my God, what a fun game. This would be an iconic moment by default, regardless of who wins, regardless of the game, to see these two teams meet up in the Elite Eight with an opportunity to go to San Antonio and play in the Final Four. Hell of a game. The Sparties are 2-0 against the Wolverines, I believe. If I'm yeah. I think they've won all
I,
the
I
matchups this year.
I believe you're right because we didn't get that unfortunately in the Big Ten tournament.
Yes.
Dude, I think I'm gonna go Michigan, man.
Hey, I'm not upset, Mo. I'm not mad.
I because I'm just so on the fence. Like I love Izzo, I love the Smarties. This team gets it done. It happened to St. John's. It finally the shooting caught up to them, man. And I'm so nervous. I know Michigan isn't the best shooting team out there,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna switch up here. My first one, I'm taking Michigan to make it to the Final Four. If they knock off Auburn, I think that is gonna be such a boost for them that they are the best team in the country. They could beat anyone. I think they get their get back against Izzo. As noted with the Tennessee Kentucky, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. Maybe
mhm.
if anyone has the formula to do it, it's Coach Izzo. So I'm not mad, and that is originally what I had. I'm switching it up. Give me the
I
Wolverines,
like
man.
it. I like it. Like, we stuck with our picks in the Elite Eight, but we've seen some different ball, man. I'm not upset with that pick at all.
Mm-hmm.
If the Wolverines can make the Elite Eight, there's
Yeah.
nothing crazy about thinking they can go Final Four. So I
Mm-hmm.
like the pick.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Texas Tech. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I need this game so bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now listen, Florida, Arkansas, an SEC game would be fun. Maryland, Texas Tech would be fun. It's a win. All of these games, I really don't care who wins because the basketball is going to be great out of it. Um, but I'm sticking with the Gators. I had them winning the tournament in my original bracket. I don't have anything different that sets up for what I originally had. Sparties, Gators in the Final Four. You have the Wolverines, Mo. Do you feel different about the Gators now?
Now, I also had the Gators originally in my championship. And although UConn had them on the fence, they were right there. We know what Dan Hurley, the team, we know what they're capable of. I don't think that was a bad thing for the Gators. I actually think that is going to be beneficial to them to get that
Yeah,
close game out of the way, to know what the emotions feel like. And yes, as it's only going to get harder as these games mean more and more, I'm going to rock with them. I'm not going to switch up here. Props to Texas Tech, man, because we kind of
totally.
slept on them with St. John's, rightfully so, because of how good St. John's was. But you kind of kept me in this right mind space of this Texas Tech team they're a very
Yeah.
good team, Mo. They could go Final Four, and unfortunately, I think they're going to be one game away.
I'm with you. More than capable. Another game where if they beat Florida, I pick Florida to win it all, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like that's how much I really feel confidently about
They're
this Texas Tech
hooping.
team. They
Yeah.
dude, they really are. Um Duke, BYU. Oh man. This another fun game. As much as I love BYU, I just can't have them knock off the Blue Devils here. I'm just so impressed by Duke. I can't do it.
Yeah, dude, I agree. It's different from that Bama matchup.
It
Obviously,
is.
Duke's defense is one of the best in the country, especially
Yep.
when Flag is out there with his athleticism, ability to block shots, create mayhem, steals, whatever you need. I just would feel, I mean, if they're here, any of these teams could make it and go on a run to the championship if you make it this far. But this Duke team, as you said, they look so solid, so unshaken, just so eyes on the prize. I have them getting through.
And Mo, Houston, Tennessee.
So
This
I
is my
know.
th- th- this is where I give it to you. This is my turn to opt out and say go ahead and you make this pick, man. Have fun.
I just This is the matchup I believe we both originally had.
Yep. Yep.
My championship pick is Houston. I can't switch that up. I would just feel so I just cannot do that. As much as I want to say they definitely can that the Vols are going to win this game. I don't believe it, man. I have the Cougars. The
Yeah.
It's going to be just a defensive battle though, man. This could be a 45-50 final. But I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. These are two teams that are known for their defense, but this year are also very strong on at with scoring the basketball too. They're not a uh one trick pony is what I was looking for. Like these teams are complete. They play both sides of the ball well. I'm with you. I had Houston in the title game before. I'm sticking with Houston beating Tennessee. But what a game this would be between two real like juggernauts. This game could get it could boom offensively because they are both capable of doing that, and it could also, like you said, end up being a game in the 50s and the first team to crack like 55 wins. It could be that too.
Yep.
So, uh, really good game there. Final four. Since you've already got it set up here, Wolverines, Gators to make it to the title game. Who have you got as your pick?
Oh, dude, I really am just trying to find a way to convince myself that Michigan would win this game. But this Gators team, man, the energy of I know all the teams have been doing it, but the post game interviews and all. Give me the Gators to chomp
Oh,
at the Wolverines,
yeah.
knock them off into the water, and roll like they do on the log, whatever that lumberjack shit is, into the national championship.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I guess let me put it in there first. I have Sparty's Gators. I had this as my final four before, and I'm not switching up this time. A hell of a game. I think this is where Izzo's run ends. Gators team deep, both sides of the ball, incredible. I've loved them all year. They've been one of my favorites. I don't feel any differently now. Put them in the title game for the both of us. Duke, Houston, same for us. Since I made
Oh
you pick the
man,
last one, I'll go ahead
I
and pull the
know,
trigger here.
I know. Just do it, man.
I had Houston before.
Just do it.
I don't
Just do
have
it to
them
me,
now.
man. I know.
I have the
It's
Duke
so valid.
Blue Devils in the title game. I said there was a big swap. This is the big swap for me. I have Duke beating
Dude.
Houston, and I love this Houston team, but my goodness, Duke has looked unbeatable, and they could lose this next game to Arizona. They could, but my God, man, I have to. My eyes are witnessing some incredible ball. I have to stay true to what I'm feeling. Um, my OG bracket has Houston. Don't get it twisted. I'm rooting for Houston because I want the bracket to hit. But if I got the
Yep.
opportunity, given what I know now and have seen Cooper Flag play on the ankle, which was my number one concern, give me the Blue Devils, man.
Dude, it's so I I'm so worried because I do have Houston as my original champion. I had Duke. I had this matchup, but I didn't think that the Blue Devils were gonna come back and look this good. Like Cooper didn't miss a step.
Nope.
My guy Con Knipple hasn't even played that well, honestly. Like they've been doing it with him and Malawak and Flag, Proctor, and Malawak. Like those three.
Yeah.
And the depth of this Blue Devils team, the guys they can bring in, the different matchups, different lineups they have. It is so hard for me to pick against them. And I'm probably crazy for doing so because of how much they've grown on me. But I'm rocking with my Cougars, man.
I'm not mad.
I'm rocking with the boys. I'm rocking with Kelvin. He hasn't won one yet. Like as good as
He
his coach is,
has
I
to.
feel like he's got it.
He
He's
has
got to
to.
get one here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm dumb for pivoting. Maybe I should stick with my gut. It's trusted
No.
us.
I don't feel good. I
Okay.
don't feel good.
I don't either. I picked the other team and I don't feel good. It's one of those like, dude, they're both incredible. I could see it going either way. It's a one possession game. Who wins it? Who has the ball? Whoever has the ball, I'm picking.
Yeah.
Like it's that
Yeah.
close of a game. Title game for you, Mo. Gators, Cougs, 2-1 seeds in the title game. Who do you have hoisting the trophy for their school?
My championship pick is going to win one at home in its state of Texas. Give me the Houston Cougars. I'm not switching up. Although Florida and Duke probably have looked stronger. I love that Gonzaga win, man. It did so much for me. It really showed me that this Houston team is legit. They're ready. They're hungry. They're hearing the noise. They need to win this at home. It would be unbelievable. Give me Houston.
I have Florida against Duke in the title game. And while I swapped, while this has been so difficult, I picked Duke to beat Houston. I'm still picking my Florida Gators to walk out as champions. I have been moved by Duke. I have been. I swapped them into the title game, but not enough to beat the Gators. I love this Florida team. They've played some close games. I think playing that close game and knocking off the two-time defending champ is exactly what the Gators needed. They needed a tight one down to the wire to really battle test them because it's going to be how it is if you're going to win 4 more games and walk home with the trophy. Give me the Gators. What an exciting tournament. I don't care what people say. This is setting up to be one of my favorite tourneys ever. Doesn't matter to me that there's a lot of chalk. We've got some amazing games the rest of the way, and I'm sticking with the Gators to win. Man, I'm excited.
these few days, I mean, I've just been so empty
I
without
know.
basketball,
I know.
college basketball. It's been really hard. I just cannot wait for these matchups to kick off.
Yeah. Uh, exciting time. Looking forward to our next videos. We'll have an MLB opening day banger at some point this week, not set on a day, but we'll give our awards predictions, division predictions, all that fun stuff, World Series pick. It's going to be really controversial who we pick there, but we'll be doing that. We'll have probably a Final Four video once that happens, so we'll have at least one or two more tourney vids for you, and then it'll be NBA playoffs. You'll probably get some NHL playoff stuff from Mo. We'll have
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania. So you'll get some we're setting up for banger territory these next couple of weeks with a ton of content. Thank you for tuning in and watching all of our stuff. And of course, before we go, Mo, song of the pod. What have you got for the
For the
people?
people, man, today I got a classic from one of my favorite artists, Kid Cudi, Revo
Mm,
Fev. Just a nice
great pick.
slow. He's harmonizing on there. He's got the vocals. He's just a nice slow paced as the weather's warming up and we're waiting. We're in the down of this tournament. It'll hopefully ease your mind as we get to the exciting parts of this again.
I love it. As for me, I've got Take Your Mask Off by Tyler the Creator, Daniel Caesar. Just a beautiful song. The hook, incredible. The lyrics resonate with you about be yourself, stay true to yourself, and it's perfect for this bracket. I had to switch up, it had to happen, but I stayed true at the end. I picked my Gators. I love our picks here, and we
Yep.
cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Peace out, everybody.
See y'all, everyone. Love y'all. Peace.